right, we are broadcasting live. And this is, I say this every week, but it's my favorite part because you'll see the participation, button down at the bottom. It starts turning over, like a hamster on a wheel. You just start seeing the numbers come up. And you'll see names that you recognize, which I love. And as always, to our participants, let us know where you're coming in from. Let us hear from you, because this is our favorite part of the week when we get to connect with all of our friends in the industry. That it feels like, gosh, it's August now. We should have seen you like 4 or 5 times. We should have seen each other. For those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, welcome. My name is Sherry Bailey. I am with Connect Travel, and we started these webinars several months ago at the end of March, never thinking that they would last this long. I don't think anybody thought they would, or that we would still be in the situation that we're in. But what we love about them is that they've kept us connected. They have kept us engaged in the industry that we love so much, and we've been able to learn from each other on how we want to recover and how we want to move forward. So today, we are reconnecting and connecting with domestic tour operators from all over the country. We have everyone from Connecticut to Oregon, and in the middle of the state with Missouri, or a country with Missouri and Texas. So we're going to have a really nice look at what's going on in their world right now and how we're moving forward. And for those of you that were on the call that Dennis was on before, we're going to reconnect with Dennis and kind of circle back to what he's been doing for the last couple of months, and maybe get some answers to questions we had then relating motor coach and regulations and things like that. So before we get started, I want to thank Betsy Cooper from Tour Operator Land. She has been our sponsor, Tour Operator Land, throughout all of these, and we couldn't do it without her. And I love seeing all these names. Floyd's back on, and Lisa from Myrtle Beach, Alfredo Gonzalez. Love to see you. And Alex, I haven't seen you in forever. Good to see you. Joe from Miami. Minneapolis is in the house. So tons of destinations and attractions and hotels from all over the U.S. are tuning in. And together we're going to get through this. So we're going to go ahead and get started, because this is going to be a great conversation. I'm telling you. We do a run through every week, and yesterday, run throughs normally last like 15-20 minutes, make sure tech's going well. We ended up talking for like 45. I had to cut everybody off, right? So we have to go, because we're going to do this again tomorrow. So this is going to be a great conversation, and I can't wait to jump in. As always, let us know if you have a question. You can put it in the chat. It's a little hard to see everything, but we will find it. Best thing to use is the Q&A button. So if you have questions, type them in Q&A, and I will be monitoring it, and I will make sure that we get to all of those. So we're going to start like we always do, and have our panelists introduce themselves, talk a little bit about their company and the markets that they focused on. And Jann, we're going to start with you.
Hey, my name is Jann Parker. I'm CEO of Travel Info to Go. Our main purpose in the travel industry is marketing and selling travel. So we sell travel, and we focus on group, corporate incentive, and fit. And I guess you might say that we're both a booking engine and a marketing company that leverages travel exposure for our clients. So we're all about going where people want to go, selling the trips, enhancing them, and making sure that travel is sold properly.
Love it. We are so glad you're here. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. So this is like my Brady Bunch screen. I don't know how everybody has their screen set up, but I have little squares that are stacked on top of each other. So I'm going to go straight down, which is James Ryder. James, how are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm here in Missouri. Our company is Group Tours USA. We also have another website, Tour Washington, D.C. So you can tell we do some Washington, D.C. Trips. Our specialties, we have 3 basic specialties that we do work in. We do a lot of family reunions. We do educational tours. I have a background in education for several years. I taught in Missouri and Indiana. So that's a specialty of ours. We also do faith tours and kind of like bus tours. So those are our 3 areas of expertise that we work in.
Love it. Thank you for being here. I think James and I were reminiscing. I think the last time I saw him was at a CITA conference, like double-digit years ago. So it's good to see your face. Yeah. Also, right next to James, Cynthia. Cynthia, tell us a little bit about your company and what your focus is.
Thank you. I'm Cynthia Billette. I am president of Columbia Crossroad Tours. I've been in business since 1995, and my specialty is the Pacific Northwest, where we cover from Alaska down to Northern California as a specialty. However, we also do a number of foreign overseas tours, as I have been a tour guide in the past covering over 100 countries. We like to do wholesale planning, and we also manage the excursions for Shorex on the Columbia River. And I have a number of tour guides that do local touring.
That's great. That's great. And we talked a lot about shore excursions and some things going on. So we'll get into more of that as we move through the conversation. And last but not least, to my right-hand side of the screen, Dennis, welcome back. How are you doing?
We're doing well. Thanks for asking me to come back. So I oversee the coach and tour group at DATTCO Incorporated. We're based in New Britain, Connecticut. We're a larger, very well diversified bus operator. In addition to our 70 charter coaches, we operate another 100 vehicles in services such. We do commuter service. We do some intercity bus service under the Megabus brand. And we run corporate and campus shuttles and some dial-a-ride services. So my group in and of itself is very well diversified, which has always served us well. And then we have 2 other divisions. We operate about 1,400 school buses in Connecticut and Rhode Island. And then we have a bus dealership that sells and services school buses and commercial buses throughout New England. So that diversity, again, served us well through the years, and it's certainly been good to have it in the past few months.
That's great. And I had some questions that were emailed into me earlier that wanted to circle back about regulations for motor coaches. We talked about that a couple months ago, so I'm going to circle back to that. But first, what are you guys hearing from your clients? What's kind of the consumer sentiment out there? We always try to get into rescheduling, canceling, moving groups into 2021, what kind of calls you're getting right now for bookings. So I'm gonna start with James. Kind of give us an overview of what you're hearing from your clients right now.
So, I mean, probably like most people, all of ours, with one exception, has canceled for this year. Many of them wanted to be able to travel, but they were not able to. And so the thing that I'm getting is we're going to reschedule for next year. And so what I try to do is to stay in contact with the clients about, once a month or a month and a half. And we do, we're hearing some very positive things. I think that for the most part, everyone is very hopeful and they're very positive about the future. And so I don't hear very much doom and gloom from everybody. And so what we're doing right now is we just focus on staying in front of people, keeping our name there, and seeing who we can, bring back on board as quickly as possible.
Love it. And that's what we can do right now, is just making sure that we stay connected with everyone. Cynthia, what are you hearing as far as what your customers are thinking? And you do a lot from tours to also shore excursions. So I know that's hit you hard right now.
Well, first of all, we're 100% canceled and have been for the entire year. The ports are closed, so the ship can't run. And I have several clients that are rebooking for next year, but they're very apprehensive. Some of their customers and the group leaders with them are kind of on a wait and see basis. We are rescheduling some things. But at this point, I think our biggest disappointment is we had a full group going to Downton Abbey and we had to cancel.
Oh, so sorry for that. You'll just have to watch the reruns and get ready for 2021, right? That's what you'll have to do. Dennis, what's going on with your clients right now? I know that the tour and charter side aren't really moving for you right now, but are you hearing things for 2021?
Yeah, so a lot of the same things the others have said. People really just don't know where it's all going to go. So the tour and travel market, we kind of divide our year into two. In the beginning of the year, our spring season is very heavy with student tour operators. And then, when we come out of June, we kind of switch that over to we do a lot of work for a couple of the larger domestic and international tour operators. So students is sounding like they're expecting it to be soft in the spring. And the larger tour operators that we kind of pick up with in June and work through the fall, they're wholly focused on 2021. They were trying to get a couple of trips out here in October. Still say they might, but their real focus back at their offices is on 2021 sales, which they say are going very strong.
Okay.
And people who are going to travel in 2021 anyways, and people that they've rescheduled from this year. So that's the tour side. And then, we do a lot of our other real big business is college athletics. So we've obviously just lost fall sports for 2020. Because I started to say at the beginning, we've kind of written off the charter season for the rest of 2020. We'll pick up in January. There's a lot to be seen as to what college athletics ends up looking like in this academic year as well.
I think anyone that likes college football, I'm an SEC fan, we're looking at it close. What are we going to do? What are we going to do without our football this summer, or this fall? Jann, so you do some groups and some FIT. So what are you hearing from your clients?
Yeah, I think it's progressing and it's gotten better. I think we started with I'm not believing this stuff, and then it kind of got into a shell game of fear factor, and like what's happening? I'm not believing this, and now I think its perception is reality, and I think attitudes are getting a lot better. And I think the progressive nature of people is starting to come out. Plus, I think people are starting to rebel and saying, "Hey, I'm not going to be shoved into my cubicle or my house or whatever it is, be under house arrest. I want to go travel." And the situation is not as bad as the media makes it out. And I think the travel industry probably got hit the hardest by this thing. And I think it's up to us to give the perception to the general public that things are really looking up. And, I look at the thing as, the virus seems to be a lot worse than this thing that the flu is a lot worse than the thing we're going through right now. The figures seem to be kind of enhanced. And I think I think people want to travel. And I don't think you're going to stop them. And I think it's coming to a boiling point. And I think it's fixing to happen one way or the other. So, I get very encouraging calls. I get calls of people, and I turn them around. I say, listen, this is good stuff that's going on now, and everybody's waking up. So, I'm very optimistic about the future. I think it's terrible, about the sports being canned again, but things will start happening. I guarantee you.
And I agree with you. I think we are going to come out of this. We're going to come through this together. We're going to be stronger. And there's no doubt in my mind that people want to travel. I think the question is when and how. So, of those phone calls that you're having, or the interactions you're having about 2021 and trying to turn that into a sale, what are the safety questions that they're asking? What's their main holdup?
I think the main holdup for us right now is probably getting over the next 3 months, because there's a political thing in front of us that people seem to, okay, there's another speed bump there. We'll get over that. But I think what I'm seeing is a strong end of the year, fourth quarter, and people want to hop into next year. But it's kind of like Cynthia was saying, there's kind of reluctance of people put one foot in and they take it back out. They say yes or maybe. And I think it's up to us to encourage people, to encourage our clients, because I think the customer is king. I think the customer is number one. And I think you have to convince people and bring them back to a positive reality that the world is good and travel is great, and we need to do more of it. you know?
Very, very true. James, as you're staying in touch with everyone, are there any hot buttons that's holding them back? Safety in all of our conversations, whether it be domestic, international, receptive tour operators, it's all revolved around safety and having the consumer sentiment, having the consumer feel comfortable. You know, is there anything else that's popping up?
You know, not really. Much of our business has a lot of older people in it, and so that's kind of where the drawback is. I don't think that we're hearing anything that anybody else, you know, anything new that everybody else isn't hearing or anything like that. So I don't really know that I have anything that, you know, that I can really add to what people are saying or have said already.
Sure. So Dennis, we're going to circle back now to that conversation we had a couple months ago about how's it going to play with motor coaches. You know, whether it be some of those student groups or you know, any type of group coming back in first quarter, I think safety's still going to be a factor. There was a rally going on for ABA, and I think, you know, has any type of regulation come out or suggested regulation for motor coach?
There's been no regulation at all from the government of the charter bus business. You know, different states have done different things with school buses, but certainly for the charter bus business, it would seem that the federal government doesn't even know we exist. They've continued to ignore the impact we have as we pled our case to be included with the airlines and Amtrak and the transit districts as part of the critical infrastructure. Both ABA, the American Bus Association, and United Motor Coach Association, they've both come out with cleaning standards for their members. I don't want to use the term minimum standards, but kind of this, what they suggest that a bus carrier should be doing to keep the bus clean and safe for their passengers. DATTCO is a member of International Motor Coach Group. We have our own slightly elevated standard from that called Clean Care, and that's what DATTCO has adopted. You know, obviously we were always cleaning our coaches every night and throughout the day as they were needed, but you know, we changed the chemical to something that is proven to kill COVID-19. So we did that early on, and we do it more often. So the drivers now have cleaning kits in there, you know, touching up any high touch surfaces. So handrails, parcel rack doors, seat backs, those types of things throughout the trip. You know, if the group's, you know, in a restaurant or something, they can touch the bus up. At night, we're going through the same process, but we're using electrostatic spraying technology, which the spraying helps us deliver the chemical more efficiently, more quickly when we're, you know, we have to push, you know, 30 or 40 buses through the wash bay at night. But the electrostatic charge also ensures that the chemical coats all the surfaces. So if you spray the front of a handrail, the electrostatic process ensures that chemical goes around and coats the back of the handrail as well. So treatment every night just ensures that the buses get a very thorough, very efficient covering of the chemicals. So we've done that. The other thing we've done a lot of, it's nothing new, but we've researched the topic a lot and we've started to market is the air exchange in our motor coaches. We actually, in a modern motor coach, it was something built in the last 10 years or so. We actually exchange the fresh air in the coach, completely change the air about every minute and a half in a motor coach. So we're doing it, you know, upwards of 60 plus times in an hour. You're getting a fresh air exchange depending on the fan speed. For comparison's sake, hospital operating rooms on average change the air 16 times an hour. So we're actually introducing more fresh air into a motor coach than hospital operating rooms. We've increased actually decreased the size of the filters, I guess, to catch more particles. So our air filters, we've gone up. You know, you hear a lot with the automotive industry, a lot of talk about HEPA filters. Airlines have talked about HEPA. The manufacturers are working on that right now. If we go to HEPA quality filters in the motor coaches, we would reduce the airflow. The system wouldn't be able to deal with the airflow because it'd be too fine. So in the filter size gets so big that we end up losing luggage space to accommodate it. So the manufacturers are working on that, and we've taken the filters to MERV rating, they call it. We've gone to the highest MERV rating we can without being at HEPA level. And then the most recent thing we've done at DATTCO is we're retrofitting 2 motor coaches to install ultraviolet lighting in the air conditioning duct. So when the air comes back, when the air is returned from the coach to get recycled and refreshed, it passes through UV lighting, which also kills any bacteria or viruses in the coach.
And you didn't even know that there was a question sitting in the Q&A box about UV light, and you answered it before I even got to get to it. You know, so thank you for that.
Yep.
Casey, thank you for the question as well. As we, you know, safety, obviously we know, communication we know. Let's kind of talk about 2021 and some of your planning processes for 2021. People are booking, or people are interested. They're doing a lot of research. Are you looking for new product? Are you hearing from clients that their patterns are changing a little bit? Maybe they want to go beyond a gateway. Maybe they're looking at different destinations than the norm that you would normally do. Cynthia, what are you hearing when you're looking at 2021 groups?
Well, first of all, we're rescheduling some of the things from this year, which have pretty much stayed the same schedule.
Okay.
The thing that's probably been the most problem for us is our bad press. The media has given us a bit of a problem, and I've had a lot of phone calls saying, well, we'd like to come to the Pacific Northwest, but we do not want to come to Portland. So I'm having to do a lot of things on that basis. The one thing I'd like to emphasize is that it's about 2 square blocks downtown, and we wouldn't go there anyway. So it's overblown by the media. Got it.
Jann, you mentioned yesterday when we were on our call getting ready for this, that you had a lot of website traffic. You had a lot of people researching and looking in that inspirational, hey, where do I want to go in 21? Do you see a difference from years past to now, 19, 20 to 21? Are they researching different things?
Oh, are you talking to me?
I am talking to you. That's all right.
It says echo in here.
No worries, Jann.
I didn't hear the person you were asking. You know, the answer to your question is we totally had to recalibrate our focus on travel, and we were international. You know, like Africa is a big spot of ours. You know, Europe and China. Of course, China. You know, wow. And we totally look at the products that people want, and that's how we go about selling them, because we create a lot of enhancement and exposure for our clients. But we totally are domestic right now, and we teamed up with one of the oldest receptive operators in the country who does national parks. Also bought into a private jet charter company, and that's kind of a interesting thing that we got into some months ago. That was kind of complicated, but our charter company, private charter, is doing better than, I mean, it's our #1 product right now. And you know, somebody said the other day, said, how's your tour business going? I said, it's non-existent. I said, we call each other to make sure the telephone's ringing. But the other thing we kind of fell into by accident, actually, it was at a Connect convention down in Florida back in February. As I ran into this woman from Palm Beach, and she had a great smile, and I was sitting there doing the speed meeting, and she said, I'm the yacht woman of Florida. I said, serious? And I said, I'm from Louisiana. I said, we have these things called pirogues. You go down the bayou and come over. Make a long story short, we got into the yacht business, and the yacht business has been very good to us. Believe it or not, in Travel Weekly today, the big header is private yachts are going through the roof in terms of demand. Now, I'm not seeing that, but I'm saying we have gotten some good response off of it. And the problem is the people are still getting quarantined back to their cabins, and the yachts are being docked again. But yeah, the whole product thing has changed, and it's all domestic now.
So knowing that's kind of changed for you, is everyone open to receiving information on new product? And, you know, I know, Cynthia, your tours, you're rescheduling the same tour. Are you finding that the product is available from that tour, or are you having to kind of step back and reevaluate a hotel or an attraction, something along that line?
Well, I think the biggest problem for me is that so many of my contacts are gone. They've either been furloughed or something else has happened. And so I'm having to start over to double check all of these prices. So far they've been holding, but I don't expect that to stay.
And that brings up a really great question that we've had. Typically, you know, everyone increases their rates year over year by some kind of percentage. One of the questions is, my thought going into 2021 with no increase and offering a very attractive package to increase interest, is this something that you would like to see? So I think overall the question is, what would you like rates to look like in 21? You know, at least holding to what they are now, or are you looking for something else?
I would like to see them hold. However, everybody is quite aware that prices are going up. Every time you go to the grocery store, it's more expensive. So I don't think they'd be surprised, but they'd be happy if they could keep it in the same range of price.
And James, how do you feel about that? Holding rates for 21?
As far as our suppliers are concerned, you know, we really haven't got to the point where we really got that many prices, for the same reason that Cynthia said. You know, many of my hotel contacts, they've been furloughed or whatever, and so I kind of have to go back and start from the beginning. I will tell you, the thing that we're going to do is we're going to hold our prices exactly the same as they were, even if that means making a little bit less money next year or whatever. So, you know, hopefully everybody will, you know, I think that it's going to be very similar to what happened after 9/11, where people are so hungry for the business that they realize that, you know, some of our suppliers are going to have to maybe make some cuts there. I had one hotel, this was in Cincinnati, even came back and said, hey, to make this group happen, what we can do is we can actually come back and cut your rates for you. Now, the group didn't end up happening, but I mean, I see such a hunger out there. And so what we will do is we'll pass those savings on to the customer, hopefully.
Love that. And you mentioned 9/11, and you know what, I think I was a DMO at the time, and what we saw throughout the country after that, and after hurricanes, any type of natural disaster that happens, were huge incentive offers, right? And is that something that, you know, we've had mixed reviews from different markets on whether or not incentives were important for next year. Jann, is there an incentive offer from an attraction or, you know, from a supplier that would change the needle for you working with them, or would change the needle for any of your clients?
I'm not waiting for anybody to move the needle. I move that myself. And the thing we've done in the country is we really love group and corporate incentive deals, and we harnessed a lot of the casinos here in the country. We changed our whole format on the front of our website and went after the rebirth of Vegas, or the reopening of Vegas a couple of months ago. And we seem to be getting a ton of traffic because of that. I'm very big at looking at our traffic all the time, and we do a lot of sales funnels, which I found people in the travel industry don't really use sales funnels or really know what they are. But no, I mean, you know, incentives, in my opinion, I've never been a believer in couponing or discounting more than value added. So it's kind of like James was saying, he's not budgeting on his prices. And in fact, I mean, we kind of took the position of going towards luxury travel. I mean, we have luxury villas, we have the private jets, we have the private charters, and we still have everything we ever had, but most of it was out of the country. And now we have this great receptive company we're dealing with was basically offering the best USA tours for all the national parks and stuff like that. So I mean, it's a big change. It's a lot different.
Very, very different. And that's the consensus that we've heard from across all markets is rather than big incentives, having some value adds, having some unique offerings, but maintaining the quality of the product. And they were looking more for consistent information, maybe a change in comp policies, maybe a change in cancellation policies, really looking more to T's and C's than any specific incentive to boost a package. Dennis, how do you feel about that with groups moving into 2021?
Our pricing's always very dynamic. You know, we use a yield management model that's based on vehicle utilization. So it'll fluctuate anyways. We'll watch the bottom side of the pricing. Our industry is always obviously very, very capital intensive with the cost of the equipment. So we've got to make sure if a bus goes out that it's at least paying for itself. But you know, this is the first one of these kind of national world events that has impacted us dramatically in our motor coach division. After 9/11, we kind of pivoted quickly from tours to, doing airport, repositions for the couple of weeks following it. And then we had been so busy, we were overbooked. So we kind of went pretty well. Same was true with, SARS, the DC Sniper. They were minor interruptions. Nothing's ever hit us at this late. So I'm sure it'll impact us more pricing coming out of this, but we've got to be cautious to not get involved in a pricing war, in a pricing game. To Jann's point, we really focus on the value that we bring with our pricing. So we recognize that we're the higher price in the market, but we just ensure that we deliver on that each time.
Understood. And that's a great message for all of our attendees when they're trying to figure out pricing for next year and structure and terms and conditions as they move forward. I think one thing that, and I have a text message from a DMO friend, one thing that I think everyone, wants you to know is, yes, there's been a ton of changes, and yes, your contacts have been moved or furloughed, but DMO should be your first stop. They want you to know to touch base with them, and they'll know who's at the property or attraction and how to get in touch with them. So message delivered. Let's talk about marketing for a little bit. We talked about product and kind of what people were looking for. And Jann and James, you guys both made a comment that you were staying in touch with your clients purely through social media. Is there any other marketing that you're doing right now? I think one thing that everyone on this call is struggling with is, when is the right time to sell, and should we be marketing hardcore right now? And we don't want to seem tone deaf. We don't want anyone to be upset that we're pushing our product out there. I mean, is that something that you're doing for your clients, and is it something that all of our attendees can do for you right now? How do you feel, James?
Well, I tell you what I'm specifically doing. I'm not really pushing any kind of product. And I know maybe that sounds counterintuitive, but what I'm doing is I'm making an approach, one of concern for my clients, and just kind of checking on them, trying to encourage them in any way that we possibly can. And so I'm not doing like any kind of, hard sales pitch or anything like that. I'm actually picking up the phone. I am calling them. I'm talking to them. I don't even get into sales because I know that the way that we work is relationships, and those relationships are just as important as anything else in life that we can have. And I'm not being fake about it. I really am concerned about my clients, and I want them to know certainly that we are here. We're thinking about them. Certainly pray for them. and anything that we can do to encourage them or anything, I'll sit down and I'll listen to stories that people will say. And it's just cementing that relationship with people and building a genuine one that in the time of need, which we all are, I'm not going to be able to sell anything right now anyway. And so if I can cement that relationship, if I can help them out or encourage them or anything like that in any way, it will be great. I've made calls, I've sent emails, and you would not believe how many positive responses I get from those emails saying, hey, thank you for just letting me know that you care. And I think that if I have anything to add to anybody at all, if you do that, I think it'll go really a long way for your marketing, even though you're not marketing.
It's a great message. Cynthia, what are you doing any marketing with your clients right now, or is there anything that you would be receptive to receiving from the attendees on the call to market their products?
Well, I do keep in touch with my clients, of course, and I have a large number of clients that come each year, and I just update them. The other marketing ploy that we have is we do, with a partner I have for Spotlight Northwest, where we invite tour operators only on a FAM tour once a year in some state of the Pacific Northwest. Montana had to be canceled, which was October of this year. But that marketing has been very valuable for us because it's operators and group leaders only, and they do come and bring back groups. And I stay in touch with all of those. The other thing, of course, is NTA, ABA, and Select Traveler.
Perfect. Jann, you're very active on digital media for your company and with your clients. What are some of the things that are working right now?
I was hoping you were going to ask me that.
Of course I'm going to ask you that question.
You know, I'm like James. I believe in the relationship, and thank God that you know, I'm not in Dennis's business where I have to buy stock in Windex. But we are very aggressive in marketing, and we don't sit and wait for the telephone to ring. We spend lots of money for our clients to bring business in, and we started a thing called Ad Vault not long ago. And the reason why I started Ad Vault, we do a lot of emails, we do a lot of social media, we do a lot of trial and error sales funnels, which are very effective, which are aggressive. They just pop up on the internet, and Lord knows what else. But we started this thing with Ad Vault where everybody's thrown in their emails or pixels or social media contacts into one gigantic pool. And that gives us the, I hadn't even really launched the thing, but I've already gotten probably somewhere around 100,000 email addresses. And what that does is it gives the small and medium companies a lot better shot at getting new business. So, you know, the group and corporate incentive thing is an interesting animal because a lot of these people have these relationships that are ingrained for years and years and years. It's just the same old company year in and year out. And all of a sudden they come on to our site, and every trip on Travel Info to Go starts with a video. And there's a reason for that. It's because we're trying to appeal to people's emotions. We're trying to show them what they're fixing to get. And in my opinion, if I can show you something bigger and better than you've ever experienced before, like a great casino or one of these great hotels to have a corporate event at, and you've never heard of it before, won't you be receptive to kind of doing business with me? And yeah, I'm bucking the system, but I'm trying to get new information to people who aren't used to it. And I'm a sales guy. I mean, I'm a marketing guy. And, you know, 50% of marketing works and 50% of marketing doesn't work. And the expensive thing is finding out what works. And I see all these people, it's just so much hype. In marketing, in my opinion, it's repetitive actions of emailing, of getting in touch with people. It's nothing really fancy. You just do the things that work. You know, you do the emails, you do the social media, you push the products out, and people call and you get sales. And selling is what it's all about. I mean, you can sit here and hype all day and all night about your trip, but until people get out there and experience it and start to give you feedback and try this new source, that's what we're about. We're about selling travel, good travel, unique travel.
So I'm going to put you on the spot because I know I can, and you won't be mad at me. When you put those videos on, where are you getting your information? You know, can the attendees on this call provide you with unique opportunities and videos that you might want to use and share?
We get a lot of them from our tour providers.
Okay.
CVBs give us a lot of them. The thing that we prefer is actually a video of the tour itself. And we can do that through an Oslo Mobile. And we can send an Oslo Mobile to China or Africa, and we can get the videos, and then we can bring them back and edit them and put our names on. Now, we have some products, like we have a program in South Africa called Safari Golf. And Safari Golf is basically going to Cape Town. You play 3 to 5 golf courses, you throw in a wine tasting thing and a little shopping and maybe an elephant ride or two, and everybody's happy, and you got worn out, and you came back to America with a story to tell your grandkids. So, I mean, those we film ourselves. But yeah, all of our videos are really focused, credible, very nice. We spend a tremendous amount of time on them. We edit a lot of the bad stuff out, and we try to keep them 30 seconds, no more than 3 minutes max. Because the attention span, I mean, somebody told me this the other day, you know, back when we were growing up, the attention span was like 7.5 minutes. And today, because of this computer thing we have in front of us, the attention span is 7 seconds. So you have 7 seconds to make an appeal, to sell something. You better be good, and you better be right on spot.
Absolutely. And like I will say on behalf of all of the CVBs and DMOs on the call, they are very happy you're using their videos. They spend a lot of time getting those put together. So I'll say that for them.
Yeah, Vegas people are the best, and the Vegas, CVB is on the front of our website, and it's fantastic. It's them turning on the lights to Vegas, and Vegas is reopening. It's fantastic. Whoever did that, I take my hat off to you.
Well, Vegas is normally on this call, so they're hearing you right now. Dennis, we'll finish up the marketing conversation. Anything you guys are doing? I mean, you mentioned you're marketing more about your safety right now and the air. Is there anything specific you're doing on destinations or tours for next year?
Not right now, no. All of our marketing and social media over the past 3 months has been about, you know, clean care and the safety that the things we're doing to keep our drivers and our passengers healthy, safe. You know, our tour department, it really exists to move buses. We do a lot more work for other tour operators than we do for ourselves. So our tour, they'll kind of be driven by customer demand where they go. We expect it'll change some, but from a marketing standpoint, you know, we're doing a lot of, with James and Jann said, we're doing a lot of phone calls. We haven't, you know, got to where we can do personal visits yet, but we're spending a lot of one-on-one time on the phone with customers to make sure we understand their needs, their challenges, and that we're thinking of things and ways to meet those challenges for them before we start to roll again. So yeah, just a lot of interpersonal, you know, one-on-one communication right now.
Love that. So I love that. I know, you know, just based on what people have told me after these webinars, that they've connected with people, they've done business, they've gotten that. And James, you just like did it right there in front of everyone to see that these calls are working, and you and Amy are going to connect on Brewery Hotels and things that you can do in 2021. So I love that. Thank you for doing that. So we have about 15 minutes left. You know, I told everyone on the panel that this would go really quickly. So if you do have any questions to send in, make sure you get them into us so we can get everything covered since we're coming close to the end here. But one question that I think is there's really no right or wrong answer, but knowing what you know now, would you have done anything differently in 2019, moving into 2020? That's a tough question, I know, but any thoughts on that? Would you have prepared differently or done anything differently, Dennis?
You asked
So-
me, sir? Oh, James, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
We had a great 2019. Margin wise, it was our best year ever. And we did that in both revenue growth and expense reduction. In hindsight, if we get into this pandemic, found far more expenses to reduce. And not in terms of hard things like laying off people, but just in terms of how many times we pick up the dumpsters at a garage, and we've looked at every invoice and turned over every rock. So I mean, I think back that if we had gone that extra mile back in 2019, 2019 would have turned out better, giving us an even healthier safety net going into this, and we would have started saving more money sooner when this began. So definitely the expense reductions that we found since March.
Yeah, for sure. I think we've all thought about that when we looked at budgets for the last few months. Cynthia, what about you? Any words of wisdom there? Anything you would have done differently?
Well, certainly financial would have been the first one. We had such a good year on tap that we were looking at that. But, this is my third rodeo. First it was 9/11, and then it was the recession. And now I'm kind of just going along and not even thinking about anything because I can't control it.
Exactly. It's figuring out how to get through it right now.
Right.
For sure. James, what about you?
No, I can't.
Right? Yeah. I mean, living in the moment, right? Making
What do you
sure
do?
you're doing what you need to do.
What do you do? Yeah, I have nothing. I'm sorry.
No, that's all
There's
right.
nothing I
Don't
would-
worry about that.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do differently.
I think everyone's scratching their head right now going, would we have done anything differently? Everyone was having great record years. Jann, what about you? What would you have done differently?
I was born and raised in Louisiana. If you have trouble in Louisiana, you either go to the church or you go to the fortune teller. So I would have probably spent extra money and gone to the fortune teller this time because everybody seems to come in that thing smiling. So they do that Friday after they get paid. They go to the fortune teller, then they go to the liquor store. And then everybody's broke on Monday and the cycle starts all over again. So, that's my story and I'm sticking with it.
I like it. That's a good story. What, now that we've gotten past what we might have done differently in 2019, what keeps you up at night right now, James?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not a worrier. And so I don't sit around wringing my hands or anything like that. I mean, maybe it's my faith. I don't know. Maybe it's my family combination. But, I feel like the things that I do is I work on the things that I can control, the things that I can't. I don't get worked up about them or anything like that. Do the best you can and you keep going, knowing that, everybody else is pretty much in the same situation. So, that's my answer for you.
That's a good way to be. That's how we're going to get through things right now. Dennis, is there anything that keeps you up at night right now?
Oh, quite literally, because one of my cost reductions was eliminating our 24/7 dispatch. It's
Oh, no.
who think what time is the next bus to Waterbury is an emergency. But I would say our drivers, I mean, we really had, among the very best coach and tour drivers in the industry. So to see them on the sidelines, not working, and to wonder how many of them will get back when we're ready to roll again. It's professional motor coach driving is unfortunately, it was already an aging profession. We've been trying to find a way for years to attract younger drivers. But we fear that some of our drivers that were, mid 60s may take this opportunity to retire. Just the weight and the risk if, to that age group. And then have taken trucking jobs because trucking's booming, have taken jobs in trucking or construction. And we just hope that when the time comes that we'll be able to have them come back and join us on our team.
Well, I hope that works out for sure.
Yeah.
Cynthia, does anything keep you up at night right now?
Not really. I'm just going with the flow. But the one thing that probably irritates me the most is that when I have a deadline and people don't return my calls. I get calls sometimes 3 weeks after I've made a request.
Oh my goodness. Well, that actually it brings up it brings up one of my questions was what can suppliers do for you right now? What is there anything that they can generate to help you generate new business? You know, we've talked about on previous calls virtual fam tours and online trainings, and I know everyone on the call has developed those and are sending them out. Is there anything that any of the suppliers can do to help you right now? Obviously, returning calls.
Just keep me updated, keep me where we are. That's the best we can do for now because I don't have an answer for them. But when I need it, I'll know where I'm at to start with. And that's where the only thing I can do for now.
Love that. Jann, what about you? Is there anything that suppliers can do to help you? Anything they can generate or create for you?
You know, after I sobered up and we got into the reality of the situation, I'm just joking about that, but and we realized we were in for an experience. You know, everybody in travel, we're gonna take you on an experience. This is an experience we're on here. But I have gotten so many calls from new travel suppliers. LinkedIn hits and they call me. I've never been so busy in my whole life. I can't put them all up. Keep calling me. Keep going to the LinkedIn thing. We're always looking for something unique that nobody else has. The people who are clients of ours, I mean, we really have some incredible people out there, and I feel sorry that we can't deliver the results that we want to deliver right now. But you know, when the airplanes aren't flying, we don't have any power over this thing. You just keep the faith. You know, just don't give up. That's the whole thing. You know. I want the travel industry to be strong and for people to be positive. I want this thing to end and everybody does their thing. You know, Jane's is real into intellectual facts and all that stuff about travel, which I think is great. But I mean, the travel industry just keep on keeping on is what I say. Have a positive attitude and just, I mean, suppliers keep calling. See if we can market you better. You know, that's all I got to say.
I love hearing that for sure. James, is there anything that suppliers can provide you right now that's going to help?
Yeah, absolutely. We're actively seeking through DMOs and other organizations, content about your destination. Now, if you're on the East Coast, if you're DC, Philly, New York, you know, a place like that, I don't need it. But if you're any other type of destination where family reunions go, or faith groups, or educational tours, we want your content. We want your itineraries, we want your videos, those types of things, because we're in a building mode right now. And so, you know, we're building our own site and we're building on other sites to point to our site for people to come and to be able to find us easier. So did the same thing back in 9/11. It worked really, really well. And, you know, that's kind of the mode that we're in right now.
Expect a lot of phone calls, expect a lot of emails.
Hotel rates also, I mean, we're really interested in, you know, hotel rates.
Awesome. And one of the questions was, where do we send that, James? And Greg, I'll make sure, Betsy and I will make sure that contact information for everyone is sent out. And James, do you want that to go directly to you, or is there another staff member? If you tell us an email, we'll make sure it gets out there.
Yeah, I will do that. Hey, and I just want to hear my phone ring. So anyway.
Yeah, so sometimes a phone call. All right.
Yeah, hey, I got a phone call.
Heard. You want to talk to some people. Dennis, anything that people can provide for you right now?
Yeah, to the extent that anyone depends on the motor coach industry to either move their groups or to deliver groups to their door. We could use your support with Congress as we look for stimulus money. Again, the capital cost of the motor coach industry is extremely intense. American Bus Association is predicting as much as 50% of the bus industry could fail. So what we'd ask that anyone do, if you depend on us, is to go to busesmoveamerica.com and help us out there.
That's wonderful. And I was going to ask you that website. Buses Move America, ABA, and the U.S. Travel Association all have great links to your local congressman and representative that you can contact about that, and we'll make sure that we put that in our follow-up. for everyone. Thank you for reminding us on that. Before we wrap up, we have another question that came in, and it really kind of goes back to bookings, and it's a trend question. You know, are you seeing that on what types of groups are rebooking for 21 more than other groups? So is it reunions? Is it heritage? Is it student groups? You know, what types of groups are rebooking the most for 2021, Cynthia?
I'm booking mostly reunions and some college alumni groups. I get my returnees each year that come to the Oregon Portland Rose Festival. And so it would be a festival group, and that is the type. The other inquiries I have are from small groups, usually families.
Okay. James, what about you? What groups are rebooking for you? Is there one type that's rebooking more?
Actually, we're getting, believe it or not, some faith groups who want to go places. And that's always great. They're easy to work with. And family reunions, for the most part. I haven't, my educational tours have not come back. I think there's too much really uncertainty in schools. They're still trying to figure out some stuff before that they're ready to say, okay, let's go ahead and take a trip. So the other two, you know, are the ones we're hearing from.
Good to know. So 3 minutes, we have 3 minutes left. So I'm gonna do what we always do and ask for words of wisdom for everyone. Dennis, do you have any words of wisdom to end the call with for all of our attendees?
No, I just think stay positive. I do think that, you know, the world loves to travel. You know, I certainly enjoy it. And I am really positive on the long-term outlook. I think once we get through the middle of 2021, you know, not the new normal, I think we'll start to get back to normal in terms of the volume of work we do. So you just gotta stay positive from now until then.
Love it. Jann, what about you? Words of wisdom?
You know, I don't really have words of wisdom, but I'll paraphrase somebody who had them, and it was Elvis Presley, and he said, "Shake, rattle, and roll." And I think that's what we need to keep on doing in the travel industry, is shake, rattle, and rolling. And I'm very appreciative of people who believe in the cause of travel. I think people in Vegas have given us a great opportunity to bring them some good stuff out there in terms of group and corporate incentive travel. But I mean, the bottom line is shake, rattle, and roll and make it happen.
You just made Lisa Catron from Memphis CBD very, very happy, by the way. James, what about you? Any words of wisdom to leave us with?
You know, just stay positive. I mean, like all things, this will come to an end, and it'll be a great deal of celebration when that happens. And I do want to suggest that Jann write a book of Jannisms. I think that would be awesome for everybody here. So.
We'll have it at our next Connect Travel event, Jann. Go ahead and get busy on that. Yeah. And Cynthia, words of wisdom.
Hang in there. We've done it before. We can do it again. And if anybody out there would like some info, just email me, and whether I can help you or not, I'll give you some thought.
I love that. And to that point, I wanted to share this at the end of the call. We talk about getting through this together, and on our call yesterday, each one of our operators have found a way that they can work together, each one of the panelists. So they're working with each other, they're working with everyone that tuned in. This is truly what's going to get us through and staying connected. So thank you. We're right at 2 o'clock. Thank you so much for continuing to tune in week after week, so we can learn from our clients and figure out how we're going to get through this together. As always, we'll have key takeaways. We'll have contact information for everyone, and this is being recorded, so we'll have an on-demand link that you can share with your partners and colleagues if they want to hear a little bit more about domestic travel and how we're moving forward. Next week, we are going to head back over to the UK and kind of see what's going on with a few operators based there, and have a great weekend. Panelists, thank you so much. Jann, James, Cynthia, Dennis, thank you for taking your time with us again. It means the world to everyone on this call. So we really appreciate it. And everyone have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.